I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. In our last reading, we read about the death of Joram, king of Israel, and the very brief one-year reign of Ahaziah, king in Judah. Now, it said in Chronicles that Ahaziah died when he went to visit Jehoram. Jehoram was wounded in a battle with the Syrians. Ahaziah goes to visit him in his illness, and while they're there together, they are both killed by Jehu. Now, in Chronicles, we got very brief mention of this event of Jehu. We are turning now to 2 Kings chapter 9, where it will detail what is going on with Jehu. Now, this is a somewhat long chapter. I'm going to split it into two readings. So this first reading will be verses 1 through 18, and then we'll read the second half in the next video. So, 2 Kings chapter 9. A prophet anoints Jehu king over Israel and prophesies destruction of house of Ahab and the death of Jezebel. Jehu kills Joram in the field of Naboth, Jezebel slain and eaten by dogs. And Elisha the prophet called one of the children of the prophets and said unto him, Gird up thy loins, and take this box of oil in thine hand, and go to Ramoth Gilead. And when thou comest thither, look out there Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, and go in and make him arise up from among his brethren, and carry him to an inner chamber. Then take the box of oil, and pour it on his head, and say, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then open the door, and flee, and tarry not. So this is again, we got duplication of names here. Jehu is the son of Jehoshaphat, who is the son of Nimshi. So this is a different Jehoshaphat. He's not the son of the king of Judah. Different Jehoshaphat. And they're going to Ramoth Gilead, which would indicate that Jehu is a soldier. He's a captain in the Israelite army, which is how every time there's been a new dynasty in Israel, it's because one of the captains kills the old king and takes over. So that's just following suit. But I like that he gives him the oil, tells him to anoint him with oil, which is standard. But then he says, once you say this, open the door and run. Don't wait around. Don't walk casually. Run. It says flee. In other words, get out of there as fast as you possibly can. I find that very interesting. But let us now go to verse 4. So the young man, even the young man the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead, and when he came, behold, the captains of the host were sitting, and he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Jehu said, Unto which of us all? And he said, To thee, O captain. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed thee king over the people of the Lord, even over Israel. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord at the hand of Jezebel. For the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jehoram the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahijah. And the dog shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. So now this message is a bit more detailed than what we get Elisha telling him to do when he says to anoint him. But this is, again, just like he did with Jeroboam, and just like he did with Baasha, God is declaring that not only is their reign over, but their whole family has to be destroyed. Now, Jeroboam, remember, he was the first king of Israel. He caused Israel to sin. He reigned. When his son became king, it was during his son's time that he is driven out, that their family is destroyed by Baasha, who became king next. But he doesn't get rid of all the idol worship. And so in the reign of his son, there is another rebellion, which eventually leads to Omri becoming king. But Omri, he doesn't get rid of the stuff either. But it's not Omri who is condemned by God. It is Ahab, his son, which means that it is in the reign of his son, Joram, that we have the destruction of this dynasty. It's all very interesting. But the Jezebel being eaten by dogs and all that, that is part of a prophecy made by Elijah originally. Ahab died in battle, and his son Joram becomes king. I believe he reigns for 12 years, something like that. But Jezebel, Ahab's wife, is still alive. She hasn't died yet. So, verse 11. Then Jehu came forth to the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto them, Ye know the man and his communication. And they said, It is false. Tell us now. And he said, Thus and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hasted and took every man his garment, and put it under him on the top of the stairs, and blew their trumpets, saying, Jehu is king. So Jehu comes back into the main room with all the other captains. It doesn't appear that Jehu is actually a captain of the host. He's not the top captain. He's just one of the captains. And he comes back in where they were all dining, and they ask him, well, what did he say? He says, did you hear? And they said, no. And so he tells them, well, he just anointed me to be king. And instantly they all, it says they take their garments and said, apparently he was coming down the stairs. So he was on the top of the stairs. They put his garments on the stairs under him. This is them pledging their loyalty to Jehu. They're saying, if God made you king, we're with you 100%. Kind of funny how quickly the people turn against the kings in Israel. Anyways, verse 14. So Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram had kept Ramoth-Gilead, he and all Israel, because of Hazael, king of Syria. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him, when he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And Jehu said, If it be your minds, then let none go forth, nor escape out of the city to go to tell it in Jezreel. So Jehu rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel, for Joram lay there. And Ahaziah, king of Judah, was come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, Take an horseman, and send to meet them, and let him say, Is it peace? So there went one on horseback to meet him, and said, Thus saith the king, Is it peace? And Jehu said, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind thee. And the watchman told, saying, The messenger came to them, but he cometh not again. So I like this. We're going to end it there. That's first 18 verses. So Jehu says, look, if you're all in mind to make me king, then spread the word. Don't let anybody get this message to Jezreel, because that's where Joram was. They had conquered the city of Ramoth-Gilead. They had kept control of it and left the army there, but the king, being wounded, had been taken back to Jezreel, which is where the royal palace was. And so they don't want any messengers getting there in advance and warning the king. And so Jehu comes with his company. And when they know he's coming, they send out a messenger. I love that. His messenger comes and asks him if he's coming in peace. And Jehu says, what does it matter to you? Join us. He's fallen behind us. Join us. And the guy joins him. So he's basically being told, look, we are not we are here to kill the king. Why don't you join us? And the guy immediately turns to join him. Now, they're close enough to the city that the watchman can see that the messenger is joining the company. He's not bringing the message back like he's supposed to. So this is a very interesting setup, and we're going to get into the rest of this in our next video. So we will see you there.